Today we are stepping into the world of crispy chili oil, or chili crisp as some of you may call it. Now this is heavily inspired by the Laogawa crispy chili oil. Now I get through a fair amount of this, and making chili oil yourself is great because you can add as much or as little as you want. You could keep it really simple with just neutral flavoured oil and crushed chilies or chili flakes, or you can start to play around with the recipe a little bit yourself, which is what we're doing today. Now, I'll be adding in some cinnamon, you've got some sugar and a bit of MSG, kind of divided down the middle. I ran out of little bowls. We have the Korean red chili flakes, we have some smoked paprika. Now I want to play on that smoky flavour because I just kind of want to give it a little bit more of a extra kick. So I've also got some smoked fresh garlic. Now this is cold smoked, so it's not pre-cooked. We have some soy sauce for some saltiness. We have some star anise for a bit of extra flavour. Some Sichuan peppercorns, which I'm finally cracking out. And then we have some mushroom powder. Now that has a really amazing umami flavour. Now, if you're one of these people, which understandably, completely up to you, if you do not like the idea of putting MSG in your food, I highly recommend this. This has so much like umami flavour to it. You could completely omit the MSG over mushroom powder. Now, to that as well, we are going to be adding in some shallots and a couple of different other chili flakes, just to add a little bit of extra heat or a little bit of extra smokiness. And if you really want to, you can add extra things in like peanuts or even some sesame seeds, something like that, just to give it a bit more of an extra crisp or a bit more of extra like flavour, texture, whatever. Now, I've looked up a couple of recipes, I've looked at the back of this bottle, and I'm deciding to go for the rough ratio that is on this, where it is 45% oil to 25% chili. So basically, double the oil for the amount of chili. Now, of course, all of this isn't going to be straight in the oil. We're going to put the nice aromatics in there first, and then we're going to be adding stuff like the flakes later on. So, to get our bowl ready, in this we want our nice, after the oil has heated, stuff. So we're going to be adding in our Korean chili flakes, our smoked paprika, our MSG and some sugar. Now all the quantities will be down in the description below. And then we want to add in our soy sauce. And to that, you can of course add in anything else you want. You could add in your sesame like now, where they'll get slightly toasted from the hot oil. Or you can add those later. And then I'm going to add in some mushroom powder just for a little bit of an extra, let's say, umami taste. Now, be warned, this does have salt in it as well. So if you are sodium, like if you're on like low sodium diet, that's got salt in it. Your soy sauce is going to be salty. Your MSG is going to be slightly salty. And of course, if you really want to, you can of course add in some salt. Now I was considering adding in some smoked sea salt. And yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that just yet, but we can always add that later on if the dish is missing it. And of course, we're going to need to add our chili flakes to that. If I can get into them. Now this is 250 grams of crushed chili flakes. So we are making a little bit of a sauce here. Now, looking at how much that is, I think I've kind of messed up on only having 3 jars to put this into. But that can be rectified later. So just give this a little bit of a mix. It's not really doing anything, but you know. So then to our oil, once that is done, we put that off to the side. I'm going to be doing it in a wok. You can do it in a frying pan or in a saucepan. I'm just going to be adding in the oil and the aromatics. Now, most of the aromatics you're going to strain later on, but you can, if you wish, keep the crispy stuff. So, like, the garlic and the onion is going to crisp up. So you can, of course, add those into your crispy chili flakes, or you can just strain them out. Now, we're going to be adding in a good couple of star anise, our Sichuan peppercorns, about, I don't know, guys, what's that look like? 9 inches of cinnamon, maybe? 2 9-inch sticks. And we want to add in our garlic and our shallots. So we're going to need to cut those up. So I will be back once I have cut those up. So a lot more work later than I originally thought. We are finally done with chopping the garlic. Now that looks like a lot of garlic. It is a lot of garlic. It was basically the whole bowl. But I do quite like garlic, and my brother absolutely loves garlic. So we're going to just be adding all of that in. Do I have something to mix it with? That would be useful. Use a spatula. Now we want to put this on medium to medium low. Get it to around about 150C or 300F. And get that nice and sizzling for around 20 to 30 minutes. If stuff starts to brown too soon, take it off the heat. We don't want it to burn, we just want it to crisp up nicely. The oil has just finished sizzling for about 20 minutes. Now the garlic and the shallots are getting rather dark, so I don't want to push them and burn them. Now for the dangerous part. Now you can let this cool down for like 1 to 2 minutes. Now I don't really want to do that because yeah, it's not the me way. But be very careful. Look at how that is sizzling and boiling up. Now you want to strain out as much as you can. I'm going to get the spatula I have been using. So yeah, this oil is about 150 degrees Celsius, which, as I normally say, is at 50 degrees above the boiling point of water and can be very deceiving. So we just want to get all of those aromatics in there, draining through. Now, once these are drained, you can, of course, pick out stuff like the star anise and the cinnamon, and then add anything else back in. That is completely up to you. I'm just going to give that a good dunk and give this a good mixing through. Now there it is. Not much oil in there at all. Well, there it is. There's 500 mils of oil. It doesn't look like there's much in there, but trust me, there is. And this is very, very hot at the moment. Now, if you want to as well, you can just add in some shop brought crispy onion. Yeah, there is way less oil in there than I was hoping for a 25 to 50 ratio, or a 2 to 1 ratio. Now I am going to add in some sesame seeds just for a little bit of extra flavour, texture. Give that a good mix. Right, the oil is up to around 200C, so I'm going to assume, possibly stupidly, that that will be, excuse that, high enough temperature. Now there is a Sichuan pepper in there. That's, oh yeah. I just realised this is dripping slightly and I almost landed on my bare foot. So we can get that nice sizzle like every time. There we go. That's a bit more. It's still not quite there though, is it? See, now I would go for. I would say that's alright. But if you do want a bit more oil in it, I would indeed go for the 4 litre. Because yeah, now there's oil coming up to the surface. Alright, here we go. Pour number 3. Hopefully this is going to be the last one, because I'm now out of oil. Oh yeah. Right, so all the chili oil is jarred up nicely. Now, this does look absolutely amazing. It did get the, yeah, it's quite nice review from Charlotte, so yeah, it's not bad. Obviously, it's not this stuff, even though I have reused the jar, because this stuff has had many years of being refined and made industrial scale, not just some guy in the kitchen because he's on holiday. But yeah, does it pass the crispy oil test? Yes, it does. Does it beat this stuff? No, it doesn't, because nothing will beat this stuff, apart from maybe another version of that. They have a crispy beef flavor where they've got like actual beef in it, and you really can't get that outside of its home country because you can't really ship it. But you get the oil, and yeah, you get the joys of making this at home. Now I might look up a recipe to try and make like the crispy beef version, because that does sound really nice. But anyway, hope you guys like this. Thank you for joining me on this fun adventure to make crispy chili oil or chili crisp. I might dabble in this later on, might try it as a short or something. And yeah, just play around with the recipe, try and refine it, try and get a good point on it. It's got a good taste, maybe use a little bit more of the mushroom powder, maybe a bit more MSG, because yeah, this was all worked out on using half the amount of oil I finally used. So some of the seasonings have been washed out slightly. So yeah, just be warned if you're going to dabble in this. But anyway, I will see you all again very soon.